Henczel coming live with me. Y'all, he was crushed alive and lived to tell about it. Not only that, he's written a book, he's done a TED Talk. He is an amazing person. He also happens to be the husband of a dear friend of mine, and I would count him as a friend as well. And he is not here quite yet. So while we wait, and it's not his fault because I literally just sent him the link because my phone died. Yeah, you know how that happens. Tech, am I right? Oh my gosh. And the place I have my phone is slipping. So we're just going to get all kinds of, fun things today. So I thought I would update you to what is coming next while we wait. Next Thursday, a week from today, is our members only third Thursday. And as always, we're going to have prizes. It's going to be really fun. And I might have a surprise or two for you. So that is going to be really, really cool. I am in a different place this time. I have a different backdrop, which is something that we're going to do for third Thursday. Um, we are going to give a studio tour. So you're all going to get to tour around the studio, see the different backdrops, see what we've got going on, see the ridiculous Lego collection, which may not be something that you would have anticipated was here, but it is here. I am going to pull up the chat on my computer so that I can see what everyone's saying. And I see that we have Lexa. Hello, Lexa. It is so good to see you. If you guys could come in, give a little thumbs up. If you're watching and you want to chat, you need to subscribe. And I hate to be like that, but we've had some kind of sassies in here, and that just keeps the conversation cordial, which is very nice for everybody. So, all right, what is going on out there in the world? Well, there's a lot of things going on out there, and oh my gosh! And you know what we're going to start doing? I'm so excited. Starting tomorrow, we're going to do a little thing called Tea and Justice, and I'm going to do some reacting to some judges. Well, originally it was just going to be judges, not the defendants, though, because the court cases against the judges where people are getting agitated are about people talking about the defendants. So all I'm going to do is clip some things that the judges say. I'll give you a little tip. The first one is obviously Judge Boyd because she's amazing. And I cut out the other people talking 17 minutes talking to a dad and basically letting everyone know that to let the lawyers do their job. So I thought it'd be really fun. Oh my gosh, Lexa, your daughter made cookies by herself for the first time today. That is so cool. Oh my gosh, I love it. When kids start cooking and they get into it, it is so amazing because it, number one, takes the pressure off. And number two is really good for them to learn. Trying to set this. Oh my gosh, I've figured out how to deal with maybe not. Yes, maybe the situation. Yeah, how old is she? 13. That is so cool. I am so proud of her. Tell her I said hello, and I wish we were closer and I could try some because that sounds amazing. Although, yeah, we're gluten-free, which is quite as fun. But anyway, all right. So I'm looking away for a minute because I am going to look at the chat, and then Judge Boyd is going to start talking in a second because that's what happens when you go to my channel. Am I right? Okay. So also, thank you so much for my subscribers. Guys, subscribers have been going crazy. It is about 500 a day, which has been really, really cool and making me really happy. So thank you to all my subscribers. You're amazing. And members, we're going to do our members only Thursday. If there's something you would like to talk about next Thursday, let me know because basically this is all about you. And my guest is here. Oh my gosh. Ah! It is the famous, the wonderful, the amazing Paul Henczel. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're here with me. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It is so good to see you.
Good to see you too. I'm
Oh
pumped to
my
be
gosh.
on your award-winning podcast.
Oh my gosh. Can I tell you what I did? I have to tell you.
Yeah.
I waited till you were here because, all right, so for everybody in the audience, we got Broadcast of the Year, and this gentleman presented me with it. And I got an envelope today from Jennifer Henczel, who is going to come on the show on Monday. She happens to be his wife. And guess what? She sent me mail. And I think I know what it is, but I thought I would open it while you're here because that would make it more exciting. And then it's all going to be about you. But I thought, oh my gosh, this is so nice. Oh my gosh, you guys. Can I tell you something?
Mhm.
This is like off the chain. Do you see this? It's like gold and shiny. Oh, Look at the stickers. Look at that. It is Broadcast of the Year award. Thank you. And thank you to Jennifer. Oh, look at it's so pretty. Okay. So
Mm,
you all did the Women in Podcasting Awards this year, and you were part of that, which was amazing. So
yeah.
thank you. Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Congratulations and
Thank
well
you.
deserved.
I appreciate that. So tell us, okay, so I met you at Podfest. Well, that seems to
Yep.
be a story I lead with a lot. Um, what, it's been 2.5 years now, I guess, something like that.
Yeah, 2022, me and Jen came down. Yeah.
Yeah. And it was, oh my gosh, you and Dave would get along so well. I wish you weren't, but you're not in the US. So it would be it's a little trek. Are you guys on the west side? You're on the west side.
Yeah, Vancouver, Canada, just outside Vancouver.
Okay, very cool. So, it was funny. I was thinking, we're going to talk about what happened. And then I thought, well, I don't know. Is it hard to talk about, or are you okay with it because you've talked about it so
Uh,
much?
yeah, I'm fine.
Okay.
Thanks for
All right.
asking though.
Oh, you're welcome. So, do you want to tell everybody? Because it is amazing that you are here. Oh, Dave says Vancouver is beautiful. I've never been there.
It is beautiful. It's a little chilly now
Is
because
it? What's the
yeah,
weather like over there now?
like what is it? Probably 10 degrees and raining.
Oh, my.
But
Oh, because you're Celsius.
yeah,
Okay. Wow.
yeah, so I don't know what I couldn't tell you what
I have no
that
idea,
is.
but it's cold. It's
Yeah,
raining and cold. Yeah, we were in
yeah,
Madison, Wisconsin this past weekend, and it was in the 50s Fahrenheit. I guess it was, and it was for us, it was cold, but
yeah,
yeah, it wasn't
yeah.
raining, thank God. So anyway, yeah. So wait, let's see. It looks gorgeous on TV and the movies. Yes. And so okay, when we were in Madison in Wisconsin, everyone was so nice. Are they like that in Canada too? That's what we hear, that everyone is just so nice.
Um, Look, I would say so, depending. I mean, I think it's anywhere depending on who you meet. But I tell you, when we were down in Florida, it was unbelievable. I would say the people down there are fantastic. In fact, anytime we go to the States, we absolutely love it. The people are amazing. So
Well, that's awesome. Well, good.
yeah,
Well, thanks. I'm glad. Well, you're nice people, so, that
thank you.
helps. Oh, Dave said it's 50 degrees. Okay, he looked it up for us. So, yeah,
Okay.
that's chilly. That's chilly rain at that
Yeah,
point.
it is.
Okay,
And it's gonna be like realistically, it's gonna be about 6 months before we have some kind of decent weather. So that's just how
well,
it is.
yeah, see, and in Florida, we have 6 months. This is our beautiful time where it's like 70s, 80s, and then it gets hot, as you know.
Yeah.
But water, we do lots of water because, how hot does it get up there? I know we're just talking about weather. I'm sorry. It fascinates me though, y'all. I'm sorry.
No, no, like it can, like in the summer, it can get pretty warm. Like we're talking like, like mid 30s to like low 40s sometimes. So that's like, I guess, in the 90s.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
Corvo. Hey, how's it going? All right. So we've got people joining us. This is awesome. This is Paul Henczel. He is an amazing human. He is a wonderful person, a great dancer, by the way. And
oh wow.
yeah, I remember that. You had a blast. It was fun watching.
Yeah.
Anyway, and your wife put on the most incredible, incredible women's track at Podfest, and we miss her.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. It was
So
crazy, insane. Yeah,
it was standing room only. It was
it was.
incredible.
I
And I
know.
love it because you work with her like Dave works with me, and it's nice to see families that work together, you know?
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty nice. So I think it's cool that you work with your husband too. I think it's
Yeah.
awesome.
He's really cool. He was my first mod, and then Lexa that's here, she is my second mod, and she is amazing and very helpful. The gentleman over there sounds exactly like Jordan Peterson. Oh my gosh, you do. You sound like, do you know Jordan Peterson? Do you know who that
I
is?
do. I do.
That is wild.
Hmm. All
There
right.
you go.
I didn't think I did, but whatever. I don't know. Sure.
I kind of
I'll
hear
go
it.
with it.
It's kind of the way you speak too, I think. And
Oh,
he's from Canada as well, isn't he?
he is.
So maybe that's part of it. So Paul is here to tell a story that is incredible. It doesn't even seem real, except I know it's real because I know these people and it happened. So that's, it's wild. So what how you went to work on a normal day.
Yeah, I was working as a supervisor in a sawmill. Now, really, to me, the only thing that was different that day, it happened to be our son's 16th birthday. And now that day, we were on a very busy cut, and we were cutting very large logs called cants. Now, if you can imagine a log, but just square that up, and that's a cant. So
Oh,
each
okay.
So you just take the round parts off of the log, it's square, and that's basically what we were doing, was cutting a whole bunch of cats. And you can imagine that's a squared up log. So each piece is extremely heavy. It weighs at least 1,000 pounds each.
Oh my
Now,
goodness.
now there was one of these cants that was stuck on edge, um, creating a log jam. And I figured that I had to manually free up this cant by crawling into a very tight, confined space. So once that happened, we wiggled this cant, and as soon as that cant was free, the machine started, and I was immediately being crushed alive by 12,000 pounds of wood.
Oh my gosh.
I could hear my body cracking, gurgling, and crunching. It felt like my head was going to explode. There was so much pressure. And I thought to myself, if this doesn't stop, I'm going to get ripped into two pieces and die. And I, I then blacked out. Now, I was unconscious and not breathing for approximately 12 minutes. And it took them that long to rescue me from this machine. I was twisted and crushed around these logs and in between a giant steel beam. Now, once I was freed, um, I was not breathing. They were about to perform CPR. Everyone thought I was dead. And miraculously, I started breathing on my own. But the immense pain was overwhelming. And I was rushed to the hospital. And that the ambulance ride was horrific. When I got to the hospital, there was a lot of confusion and panic amongst the paramedics, all the doctors around me. And I just remember something had to change. Um, and like, it was a bleak situation. I was bleeding out of my eyes, ears, nose, and mouth.
Oh,
Like, I was completely kind of crushed and caved in. So in that moment, I I knew something had to change, and I thought I was going to die again. But then I was touched by an angel, and that was my wife. And in that moment, I had hope because, like, I wasn't alone. So that was kind of the turning point. But it was pretty rough. And I mean, my I'm left with a lot of invisible injuries that you can't see. Like, I have a permanent brain injury, cognitive disorder. Like, I have spine damage, like neck, back. I have shoulder damage, my whole right side, nerve damage. Um, so a lot of things. And my recovery was incredibly challenging and long, but um, you know, I took one step at a time. I did what I could do in, until I could do more. And I'm here to talk about it.
it is so incredible. Yeah, Jennifer, I've never heard you say the whole story before. It is, oh my gosh, even more than I realized. And she told me when she got to the hospital that, it was just like nothing she could have ever imagined.
Yeah, I was unrecognizable to her. But I just remember, like, her touching my arm, and then I just like things were bleak, but I knew from that moment that I wasn't going to die, that I was going to survive it. It was just going to be, I didn't know everything that was happening, or what was going on, inside of me, outside of me, everything. So
That's incredible. It's incredible what the love of someone, the touch of someone that you love can do, isn't it?
yeah, yeah, well, truly, it's amazing. Like, I would not be here if it wasn't for her. So I'm extremely grateful.
That is so incredible. Yeah. When I was having my children, Dave was in there kissing me, and when he would kiss me, it would take all my pain away. And it
Yeah,
was the wildest thing. And people are like, "No, that's not." I'm like, "It is a thing, though. It really did. Nothing else was helping, and that's what he did."
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I can imagine, that feeling. Yeah, that would. But still, oh my goodness, I can't imagine surviving that, and then what you must go through, even still every day.
yeah. Daily issues, but I think in the beginning, like, what I kind of thought was, if I can try to improve my situation 10%, and then kind of looking at that, like, in a month, like 10% out of a month would give me 3 better days. And like, I would take that. So I just kind of did small incremental steps. So, um, like, what I kind of say sometimes, I've done like different talks, but I did what was necessary to start with, and then I was able to do, like, okay, what was possible, because you build momentum, and each small step, leads to the next. And then from there, I was able to do the impossible. So necessary, possible, impossible.
That's so incredible. Yeah, when I have a physical therapist, and he used to say 1%, just aim for 1%, right?
Yeah,
And then, every day, if you can get 1% better every day, and it seems like nothing, but in 100 days, you might not be 100% better, but you'll be a lot better. So that
yeah,
is
exactly.
absolutely incredible. And I know when I saw you, you were, like I said, you weren't just walking, you were dancing. And I mean, it's just phenomenal to me. You're just an absolute miracle, which is why I was so excited to have you on and let people hear from you. And yeah. And so since then, you've done some pretty incredible things.
Yeah, and just like kind of building momentum, um, and taking, like, one step at a time. And so physically, like, I still go to physio, get dry needling, massage therapy. One of the major things I do is quarterly. So every 4 months, I get about 70, 80 injections, each time. So I get them, like, my head, neck, spine, shoulder, back, you name it. And that includes, like, facet block injections, cortisone, Botox, all throughout my head
Oh
and
my
back.
goodness.
And that's so I can function, kind
Wow.
of like a normal person. And it's yeah, there's like, there's a lot of invisible injuries, like I said, that I have.
Yeah.
Um, but I do, and with that kind of comes, some stigma that I've dealt with. But I'd rather look normal than not. I mean, I'm extremely fortunate. And so physically, there's, obviously limitations and stuff I had, but after something like that, I really, really had to look inside myself and, do some mindset shifts. And that was really important.
Oh, absolutely. And making peace, right? Somebody's
Yeah.
asking what dry needling is. Is it like acupuncture?
Similar, but yeah, I mean, it's also called like IMS, so, like, intramuscular stimulation or something like that.
Oh,
So
is it electrified needles?
um No, it's just like they'll inject like a very thin needle into the muscle, wiggle it around, and it releases like whatever stiff. So that's yeah, I don't know, dry needling, IMS, those are kind of the two things.
It sounds very painful. Is it painful?
It can be when that needle is releasing like your stiff muscle, but you do get relief afterwards. So
Well,
it can be sore, for a day, but it's yeah, I mean, it helps out a lot. So
that's good. If you've just joined us, this is Paul Henczel, and he was crushed alive by 12,000 pounds of wood and in a machine, and is not only living to tell about it, but he is walking, he dances with his wife, he is doing some phenomenal things. One great thing that you did that I've always wanted to do, you got to give a TED Talk.
oh yeah. So now that's kind of a that's kind of an interesting story. So I at first, like before that happened, I had written my book after I had gone back to school and finished my degree, and I started speaking at various networking events. And my wife like had a whole networking group that she ran in different chapters, so I started speaking for those. Now before before this, I had applied for like a big TED Talk near us, and it was quite the application process. I'd kind of made it down to the last few, and I found out this morning that I didn't make the final cut. And so I was pretty upset because I had like me and my wife I had a speaking coach and I was prepared with my TED talk, my story and everything else. And so found out before this networking event that my wife was leading in our town that I didn't make the last cut. So I was bummed out and I'm like, no, I'm not going today. Just forget it. And she goes, well, but what, like, just come. And I mean, everybody there loves you and supports you. And I finally kind of reluctantly agreed. And I'm like, okay, but if anybody asks how I'm doing, I'm not going to say fine. I'm going to say I kind of suck right now. And here's why. Anyways, at the end of that networking event, which was fine, by the way, and I'm glad my wife, dragged me and took me out to it. So at the end, I meet the TEDx organizer from our city that, she was doing like a, the whole event in a couple weeks and she needed a speaker and I happened to have my whole TED talk prepared, ready to go. And so I ended up um, I ended up being able to do it, and which was phenomenal. By the way, one of the best experiences of my life. And I was the only one that day who had like a standing ovation for a couple minutes, which was pretty cool. But it's just nice, right? Like when you win something or you get applause or people are there and truly inspired or listening to what you have to say. It's pretty surreal.
It is,
So
and what is it about giving a TED Talk? Because I haven't done it, but I know there's definitely a prestige about a TED Talk, right? And the people that have done it, I don't know, there's something different about it.
yeah, it is because I mean, it's, 10, 12 minutes, so it's pretty short, but it's like it's powerful. I I loved it. I thought it was fantastic, and yeah, I wouldn't mind doing another one at some point too. So that TED Talk is called Silencing or Silencing Stigma Through Storytelling, something like that. Anyways,
Oh, I like that. And you've written a book about what happened. So if you're new, because a lot of people come to live and we get new people all the time. So
yep.
if you're just joining us, this is Paul Henczel. He was crushed alive by 12,000 pounds. And he is here telling us the story, telling us about the incredible things he's done since then. And in spite of all of the things, literally bone crushing experience. And look at, he's here. He walks, he runs, well, I don't know, do you run? I don't run. Maybe you run, but he's
No,
able to do a lot of the things. So, yeah, and people are saying congratulations. It's incredible. It really is incredible. So, how long did it take you to from the accident to get to where you realized is the miracle in a mine or mill guy? Oh, are you the miracle in a mine or mill guy?
yeah, Miracle, yeah, Miracle in a Mill was like the first, and we changed it to Crushed Alive. So yes,
Okay.
I am the same. Now, for your listeners, um, anybody who wants to read my story in depth, if you go to inspiringshow.com/gifts, you can get a free digital copy of my book, Crushed Alive.
Oh,
So
very cool.
inspiring show, all one word, .com/gifts. And then you can download a free digital copy of my book and you can like read more in detail about what happened, afterwards and stuff like that. So really, I would say for the first 2.5 years, every day was horrible. I mean, like migraines every day. The amount of pain I was in until I actually um, saw the specialist who gives me the injections every 4 months, like I said, and started seeing a physio who specialized in concussions. Because having a brain injury, but basically a lot of the symptoms I have are post concussion symptoms. And from there, probably it took about 6 years before I wrote my book and then started speaking at smaller events. But um, I went from an injured mill worker to now an international speaker.
That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible. And so you were saying you have, so, oh, I don't know if you can see the chat, but I think I got it. Inspiringshow.com/gifts. So
Yes.
if you're watching and you want to read the whole story, because there's so much that he cannot share right now. But the fact that, you said earlier you were bleeding from your eyes and your ears
Yeah.
and your nose. And I mean, usually when you see that, you think, that's it, right? And it's just incredible to me that I don't know, that I'm
Yeah.
talking to you.
It it was pretty crazy. I looked like I looked like a monster. Like there's a specific type of bruising, and I think it's called petechiae, and it's this type of bruising is only found post mortem, like in strangulation victims, like around the neck. But it just my entire head, neck, and body was the deepest red purple color you could imagine. So yeah, it was kind of eerie. Um, but uh, thank God I had support. My wife was there, and then I, was able to see my kids uh, afterwards in the hospital. And one day at a time, um, one small shift at a time, I'm able to do now what a lot of people would say was impossible. But it took like I do want to get into like it took a lot of inward work and mindset shifts. So I know there's one question I thought like I could just pose, just kind of rhetorical. So could shifting your focus towards a more positive mindset shape the opportunities you attract? So I'll leave that out there. But I first had to look inside myself and see, okay, like what am I carrying? What kind of limiting beliefs did I have? And um so do you remember the wood I was crushed by are called cants?
Yeah.
Okay. So um now my limiting beliefs were also crushing, and I'll explain that. So I would tell myself, I'm never going to get over this. I can't do this. This is too hard, or I'm not good enough. Right. Um, and so I was crushed by can'ts, literally, is the wood I was crushed by are called can'ts, but I was also crushed by can'ts figuratively. And so now I say I'm crushing my can'ts and you can too. And so you really need to look at what limiting beliefs are holding you back. Because the energy you put out there, you are going to attract more. So if you're putting out negative energy, well, guess what? You're going to attract more of that into your life. So it was a huge effort for me and my wife over the years to stay positive. And I'm not saying that's the only thing you do. There's steps you take beyond that, but it does start with that. And like what I would do after my accident was take some positive affirmations that I liked and just post them on the mirror that I could see every day. And so look, when like I know everybody has like the situations that brought us all here are different, but there's similarities that we can all draw from. So physically, mentally, if you're struggling, I mean, looking at something positive each morning, or you know, I'll talk about other modalities too after this, but it does help kind of set your mind straight. And that question I said, could could having a positive mindset like lead to more opportunities? So there's one quote by Wayne Dyer I absolutely love, and it's, if you believe it will work out, you will see opportunities. If you believe it won't, you will see obstacles. And I just chose to try to picture myself where I wanted to be, not where I was. If I was having a bad day, I literally would tell myself tomorrow would be better. And I just went on that until like I said in the beginning, like until I could do more, or that 1% shift or 10% shift that I looked for, that small step which builds confidence and momentum and leads to more. So I I would I started visualizing where I wanted to be, not where I was.
I
So
love that.
another cool story. Now this is true. My wife, again, I love her to death. She takes me to see Brendan Burchard, motivational speaker, and he came to Vancouver. And now this was like before I started speaking, before I wrote my book, everything else. Now, for whatever reason, I pictured myself speaking on a stage like that one day. So when like we're talking a huge stage, like in the main uh, theater at Podfest where you have those huge screens on either side and the huge screen behind you, and it seats like thousands of people. So I had a vision that I was one day going to speak on a stage like that. Now I hadn't even started speaking, like I said, so I had no idea how, or what how that was going to take place. But I believed, all right, um let's see what takes place. And that did that did become reality, and it was like one small incremental step at a time. But that's another mindset shift. So like I first kind of touched on like limiting beliefs. So those are negative thoughts you tell yourself. Those can be deep rooted, like they can go all the way back into childhood, which I had some of those. But it's like those statements I told myself, like I can't. Just switch that and tell yourself you can. Because whatever situation you are in, and you know this too, Jen, it will get better. It won't stay like that forever.
Yeah.
Um,
So can I ask a quick question?
sure
Because
can.
somebody in the audience, before they go, so
Yep.
Corvo has read your book, and
Oh,
they said in your book you detail your physical and emotional recovery. What was the single hardest moment you faced, and how did you push through it? So you're kind of alluding to that, but is there something that just stood out as, oh my goodness, we didn't think we were going to conquer that one?
yeah. Like the physical, dealing with the physical was almost easier than the mental. And I mean, like I had severe PTSD, but
Man,
the limiting beliefs, like having a fixed mindset, like being a mill worker, thinking, okay, like um, whatever I have for education and beliefs, like I'm kind of stuck with that. But I kind of had to change from a growth mindset. But really, to answer that question, the hardest thing I I dealt with was like in the hospital afterwards, thinking, wow, I honestly like, I want to be a better person. Like this is like a wake up call. I want to be a better husband. I want to be a better father. I want to be a better person. And it kind of took me, to my lowest point to drag me out of that. But it's like one mindset shift at a time. And embracing my story and all the good aspects of that, but also the negative aspects too, which you have to look at, like those are important lessons for growth, right? And
yeah,
to not get stuck in your story. I think the fact that everybody like I don't know too many people. I don't think anybody who's like been crushed by that amount of weight and survived. But um um sorry, yeah, I kind of lost my train of thought. But
that's okay.
just like you have to be able to tell yourself you can, and grab onto whatever support you have as tight as you can, and go through it one step at a time. But
There you go.
like you can do it. I'm living proof. And yeah.
See, and I absolutely believe, I mean, because, yeah, my doctors told me I wasn't gonna make it past 2019. It's
uh,
2024, right? And, that I wouldn't be walking or anything, so here we are, we're both, "Hey, Emily, it's good to see you." We've got another question from Corvo.
okay.
In your book, I love that you've read the book, Corvo, this is so exciting.
Yeah, this is
And
cool.
so for those of you that have just joined us, this is Paul Henczel. He was crushed alive by 12,000 pounds and, is here to tell us the story, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's not just that he survived, because I feel like, but it's that he has gone forward and done some phenomenal things since then that just make him just even more incredible than, yeah. So and the question from Corvo is, in your book it was clear that community support played a significant role. What moment, boy, Corvo, I love the way you word things. Really good. Okay, what moment best encapsulates the impact that others had on your recovery, and did any act of kindness surprise you?
Right after my accident, like I had coached football in the community, my son, and so a lot of players, fellow coaches, would come to our house. Like we had, I don't know, probably 100 kids and fellow coaches, like their parents, come over and just be like, "Hey, heard your accident. How did you survive that?" That kind of thing. So now when you have like a bad accident like that and dealing with PTSD, it's definitely hard to share aspects of your story. Like afterwards, I would kind of tell Jen, I'd be like, "Man, I just feel like I just got hit by a truck." But the more you share it, the easier it gets. But you do to me, it was that just overwhelming amount of love and support from the beginning. And that led, down the line to my wife taking me to her, networking events in the community. And, I would start by sharing my story in front in front of a couple dozen people or whatever else. But every time that happened, those people would tell two friends like that story, and they would tell two friends, and word of mouth, more people heard heard my story, read my book. Um, I basically would just give away copies of my book. Had a book launch too, and it just like word of mouth. One person would tell someone else, and that led to something bigger, like the TED Talk, like I said. And then, then now you get thousands of people viewing your TED Talk, reading your book, and then you get invited to bigger conferences, international conferences, and one thing leads to the other. And I'm doing things I never thought I would do. But
Isn't that wild?
but
It's wild.
just embracing embracing the love. And I think also, like, and this is what um the power of storytelling. So I would tell my story, but then stories connect people on a different level that otherwise wouldn't happen. So even people that were strangers I didn't know, they would end up sharing their story in response to mine, because that's what stories do. It just connects people on a different level. And like I said before, if you can kind of embrace um, the differences, knowing that the situations are different, but you are not alone. Like, the accidents or whatever takes place leading you to where you are can be completely different. But there's a lot of people that have brain injuries, nerve damage, like, you name it. And like you can attest to that too, Jen. You're you're not alone in this world. There are other people. And just embracing that love and support wherever you go. But I mean, there's also something about hearing someone come up and tell you, "Hey, I was inspired reading your book," or um, my son or somebody I knew was going through this, so I gave them your book, and like it touched them, inspired them, motivated them, and those are the kind of things that keep me going. So
Yeah, and I think, I don't know if how it is for you, but on the days that there's a lot of pain, knowing that it is bad. I mean, it's it's bad,
yeah.
but knowing that, wow, through this, there's things that we can do that we wouldn't have been able to do without the struggle. And I think
Mhm.
that's what you got to focus on is by saying, yes, it is a struggle. It is. But it's also a gift in a way. And if you can look at it like that, and I think that's the mindset you're talking about, right? Is that no, you wouldn't wake up wishing, gosh, I wish I could be crushed today, right? Obviously. But from that, and because of that, you've got some incredible things, and you're able to see the world in a way you never could before. And I think knowing that we maybe wouldn't have been here or could or shouldn't have been here or whatever, it makes every day better. At least for me, it does.
100%. I totally agree. And I mean, yes, like you said, yeah, I would not wish, being in an accident, but like all these years later, yeah, I'm grateful. Like I am a way better person that I am now than before my accident, and I'll take any bit of that. And I love my life. Like, okay, I was working in the lumber industry. That's it's not easy. It's not cool. And now I get to do what I want when I want, right? It's kind of like, hey, I'm a grown up now. So,
I love that. Oh, Corvo has another. He said, or I'm saying it's. I don't know. So they said, final
yep.
question: were there aspects of sawmill culture or work environment that you hoped would change after your story became public? And do you see any impact or response from industry leaders?
Um, just kind of like a short story because I don't like getting into like our healthcare system or our workers'
Right.
compensation because those are difficult situations um and that kind of thing. But there I have heard there were some positive impacts around um my mill, certain changes, and I was able to speak at some big disability conferences that my story went over real well being an injured worker. So I'll kind of leave it at that. But
Okay.
I think um, embracing and making the hard decision to focus on the positive aspects of your story and speaking in those terms and not getting wrapped up into the negative or taking you down some road which is just going to bring more of that negativity in your life. um, just really keeping that in mind, me and my wife really helped us like kind of navigate every difficult situation through the years. But also, I think if you can look at, like, yes, external forces and things like, you know, play a really important part sometimes. But if you can look inward and see, hey, what can I do? What what can I do? What can control in my own life or situation to make things better and take steps to do that. So um the one thing that like me and my wife have a podcast together, it's called the Inspiring Innovator Show. But now we're kind of getting into just complete encouragement, positivity, um, talking about a lot of the modalities that helped us. So, like I talked about, like positive affirmations, but meditation has really helped both of us. And like I said, I told you that story about how I visualized myself speaking on a large stage. Um, well, like me and my wife had a vision board we made years ago, and um, we had moved, we found that, and it turned out everything on that vision board came true. And so we did another one that we recently did that's kind of on the wall behind us right there. Anyways, um, but really just kind of meditating and being grateful for what you have, but being grateful for what you want, like setting clear intentions as if those are already in your life. And I'm telling you, it feeling like that. So it's like feel it, believe it, and achieve it is what I like to say. And everybody can do that. It's just putting the the energy out there um, and setting a clear intention of what you want, where you want your life to be, and then taking taking inspired action after that to make sure the goals that you have can come true, and they will if you believe it. um, and you know feel feel the gratitude and the energy as if they're already here, and those things will start manifesting in your life. Like if you want abundance, more love, health, you name it, um, just start feeling that way, like meditate and believe it, and they'll start coming true, and you don't have to know the how or the why or whatever else. Just believe it and then start taking small steps, which those small steps build like one after the other. It builds confidence and momentum.
And it's funny because I used to think stuff like that was really like woo woo and out there and
Yeah,
whatever. But it makes sense because if we're looking for bad things to happen, if we think, oh, I'm going to get up today, people are going to treat me bad things are going to happen, I'm not going to make money, then it's a self-fulfilling prophecy that you're gonna find
exactly.
if you look for bad, you can find bad everywhere. It's not hard,
Exactly.
like swing a stick, you're gonna hit it. But when you start focusing on the good and on the positive, you see it so much more, and it is so much easier to ignore the bad and ignore the negative's still there. Those same things are happening, but they're
Exactly.
just not occupying brain space, and I think that's the key. And so Lexa, who is my mod, who's here, has had,
Yes.
and Lexa, correct me if I'm wrong, stage 4 cancer for over 10 years. I want to say 14, but maybe that's long. And I tell you what, it's mindset, right? It's mindset. Her body has gone through things. Oh my goodness, most people would say that they could not handle. And you know what? She is determined to be here, and she is here. And and I don't think it's fair to say that positive, if you don't have the right mindset, it's your fault that that you don't make it, because if that was true, then no children would pass away from sickness, right?
Exactly.
I hate putting that pressure, right? But it does make a huge difference, and you enjoy the time you have so much better if you're doing these kind of things and just seeking the good, seeking the positive, right? Trying to
Yep.
moving forward, and no matter it may be small, like you said, it may be very small, but if you move a little small step every day, even if you take a couple of backward steps, you're going to eventually be where you want to go. So thank
Exactly.
you
And
so much for sharing.
another thing I like to say with like embracing your story and embracing the positive aspects of your story. Your life is like a book, and like we're all authors of our own story. But how do you want that next chapter to be? There are things that you can do to control certain things and make your life better. And I would just say strive for those. Like look for the positive, and you when you change your story, you change your life. And I never thought in a million years I would be here talking to someone as amazing as you and your
Oh,
guests about, something that happened to me, or, um, things that I did to improve myself that inspire others. But, um, but I am, and there are See, here's the thing. Everybody has a story, and your story matters. And you need to be sharing your story with other people. Like there are other people going through what you're going through in some way, and then you realize you're not alone. And then, you also realize, hey, wow, I met somebody um that is actually pretty cool, that have like we have more in common than we don't.
yeah.
We'll put it that way.
Oh my gosh, I wish people would remember that,
Yeah.
especially, because here in the US, we had our election and the whole thing. And, back in the day, and I don't know, I'm sure that it was this way with you too, with we could be on different sides. And, my mom was a
Yeah.
Democrat, my dad was a Republican. We had friends that were both. We'd have dinners, we'd have conversations, and they never even got heated. People had different opinions and they agreed to disagree. And I think we've lost so much of that lately.
Yeah, it's true. And I would just say, like, love conquers all. Like, just like 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 choose to look for the good instead of the bad. Like you just said, if you're looking for bad, you're going to find it. But if you can look at it the other way too, there are incredible opportunities and possibilities by just trying to look for the good. It is there as well. There is lots of good around us.
Yeah. so much. Okay, Corvo says, "It's been great talking with you. Your story is such a powerful example of resilience and finding purpose." Oh, I think those are two words that definitely, yes. Thanks for sharing and being so inspiring. Like, isn't that it? It just is so incredible, and it makes going through. I mean, it doesn't make it like you wouldn't choose it, right? But
Yeah.
it does. Corvo, thank you, because I'm sure it just makes it feel better, you know?
Yeah, I want to say I appreciate all your questions, Corvo. And thanks for chiming in, and I wish you all the best.
I think that's so neat. Someone that read your book a few years ago is in here,
Yeah.
talking. Oh, are you going to Podfest this year? Dave wants to know.
Can't make it this year, but we are looking to go the year after, so 2026. That's what we're kind of planning to now,
Okay.
so hopefully.
All
But
right.
yes, we want to go again because it was amazing.
Any chance you're going to the podcast show in London in May?
N no,
Okay.
won't be able to, but, uh, again, maybe the year after. We'll
Yeah.
we'll see. Keep fingers
I've
crossed.
I've got a daughter living in Europe, and so I thought, okay, that's
Oh,
just a really good excuse. I haven't gone alone to see her yet, and so I
oh,
want to
wow.
go and do that. So I'm gonna try to make it happen. But I don't know anybody that's going, so I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm sure, Jen, if you did a little digging, I'm sure you could find somebody. I don't know. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I'm sure someone
I
in her
know.
group is going.
Well, I mean, I know, like with my wife's, like her other group, women in podcasting and stuff like that. Like, there's lots of people in, like, London has a huge podcasting. I don't know. I Look, that's not my area of expertise. I just know there's tons of people over there, and I'm sure you, I'm sure you probably would end up finding somebody.
Yeah, I think so. And also, so for those of you here, Paul's wife, Jennifer, is going to be live with me on Monday. Completely different conversation. She was
Yep.
not crushed alive. She
No.
does some other phenomenal things and is a very inspiring person, which is why their show is called The Inspiring Show. Where can they find you if they want to find? So I've put the link for your the free copy of the book a few times, and I just put it again. Is there another place where they can find more things about you?
Yes.
Okay.
Literally inspiringshow.com. You can find everything about, you can, like read about me and my wife. You can you can access our podcast, which is Inspiring Innovators Show, but everything is inspiringshow.com. You can get free gifts, anything else you want to look at or find out more about me and my wife, it's there.
Awesome. That is so awesome. Yeah. And I just thank you so much for joining me. If anyone has any last minute question, be sure that you ask it because it is almost 10. And I'll be honest,
Wow.
I'm tired. It gets dark here way too early. Do you guys do daylight savings time
Yeah,
there?
we need to get rid of that. It's not cool. Like I was
It's
just
not
telling
cool.
Jen, it's like starting to get dark at like 4:30, and
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just, yeah,
It's interesting because I stay awake well, I stay awake, I work way too late, but I get
yeah, it's
tired 3 hours earlier when it changes, so I don't know what that's all about. My body's just like, "Meh, time for bed." But, yeah, I think we should all just we're done now. We're done. We need to write our senator or something and, tell them it's time. But, yeah, if anybody let's see, do we have any more no more questions? Dave, do you have any questions? I know Dave, you 2 would be fast friends. I'm telling you right now, y'all if you could meet Paul in person, you would just fall in love with him. He is a wonderful, wonderful human, and I so appreciate you taking the time to come on the show.
oh, I look, I'm honored to be on your award-winning show now, and, yes, I would love to meet your, Dave, your significant other. I'm sure we would be friends, and I know there will be a time in the future that we will meet. Also, me and my wife love Florida, and we do want to be there more. So
Great.
we will see what the future holds, but I'm completely believing that's in the cards. So,
Well, I'll tell you what, my studio is also a guest room, and you could work from here. So you have an
oh,
open
well, well.
invitation. So if you could just get here, you would have a place to stay, and we're 3 blocks from the beach. Our neighborhood has its own beach. So yeah,
All right,
there
I
you
will
go.
tell my wife, and we will start making plans.
You should. There we go. Lexa said, Paul, you are such a lovely person and an inspiration. So
Hey,
there we go.
thank you very much. I appreciate that.
And Dave said, "Made in Canada" with a star. There you go. I love it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, and thank you, everyone. Mwah. I love you all, and we'll be back here with Jennifer Hensel, Paul's wife, on Monday, and we're gonna have some Tea and Justice reaction coming up soon. So keep an eye out, and if you're a member, Members Thursday. Oh, when are you coming back live, Jen? So I go live every Monday and Thursday at 9 p.m. Eastern. It's a weird schedule. It's what I've always done though. And so yeah, come join us Monday. I'm going to, and because I have been really bad about this, start putting them out so that you can see them. There's a Discord. Dave, can you put the Discord in the chat? So Corvo, if you want to jump in the Discord, we always put a link and let everyone know what we're doing in it. Not far enough in advance, guys. I'm working on that, I promise. So, all right. After all that being said, thank you again, Paul. I
Oh,
appreciate
you're
you.
welcome.
And now we're really going to go. Y'all get some sleep and yeah, bundle up, stay warm, safe. And
Thanks for having me. And Jen, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing unbelievable things.
thank
Love
you
your
so
show.
much. Oh, I appreciate that. And I love you. And y'all stay positive because you know what? If Paul can do it, you can do it. I mean, there's nothing else. If you can get through that, if he can get through that, whatever you're going through, you got it. So somebody needed to hear that today. So, all
Cool.
right. There's the Discord. Join the Discord and come hang out. All right. I'll talk to y'all later. Bye. Bye, Paul.
Thanks. See ya.